What's good out there, everybody? Once again, it is on. You already know when you hear that music that I got something special brewing, and we got just that. Willie Epstein Jr. Take Back Sports Show. BGC Sports Network is who we are powered by. iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. That's where this show will be uploaded immediately finishing its taping. And thank you guys out there on Facebook Live as well as Periscope and YouTube for tuning in. And if you can see the screen, I have one of my favorite college football players of all time. Ran like a 2.3 in the 50. Speed extraordinaire. All-time great running back, the 14th leading rusher in NCAA history, if I'm not mistaken. Doak Walker Award winner, draftee by the San Francisco 49ers in the second round of the 2012-11 draft. I am talking about none other than LaMichael James. LaMike, what's up, man?
Man, how you doing?
Everything's good, man. Everything is good. I really appreciate you taking out time in your busy schedule, man, to chop it up with your boy. I actually titled this Willie Epstein Jr. runs the option with LaMichael James. So I guess that means I'm going to be the quarterback. And who was your quarterback during those years? Was it
Darren Thomas?
Who said again?
Darren Thomas.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking,
H-Town, Texas. Yeah,
I was thinking Jeremiah Masola, but I was like, no, that don't sound right. Then I was thinking Dennis Dixon, and I was like, no, that ain't right either. So, all right, man, I appreciate it. So we just gonna get into this. You were one of my favorite players, and I actually just got done talking with my boys when we played college football 2011 on Xbox. My son Jalen would always pick Oregon, and the reason why, one of the reasons why was because of all of the different uniform colors that y'all had, and then because of you. So I have a question, because with you being born in New Boston, Texas, which is really right up the road from us, and then, of course, growing up in Texarkana, how does a Texarkana kid end up in Corvallis?
Nope. Corvallis is where Oregon State is.
All right, Eugene.
Yeah, you're trying to start some over here, but yeah. You just gotta. I always wanted to be a person to make my own path. I never wanted to be a follower. Show kids coming out, you can go anywhere you want to go and excel. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. Just create my own street.
Yeah, because when I saw that, back in the day, I was like, I had no clue he was from Texas, because number one, well, I know Texas, and just recently, and oh, by the way, I got to thank Ken Hill for setting this up, man. So the interview is really being sponsored by Fable Cup Barbershop, the dopest barber in the world, man. He is good friends, and they are from the same hometown. So shout out to him for that. But until I met Ken, I didn't realize the amount of quality and the high performing athletes that came out of Texarkana. There was there was Big Tex, played quarterback for Michigan, Will Middlebrooks, all these guys. I had no idea all you guys were from Texarkana like that, man. So that's a hotbed of talent there, man.
It definitely is, man. It definitely is. When you're in the deep parts of East Texas, they call it East Texas for a reason.
And the name of that school that you went to, Liberty, how do you say the
Liberty Allah.
Liberty Allah. And I think Marquess and Huff also went there too. Is that correct?
Yes. Marquess and Huff.
Yeah.
Brandon Jones. I mean, the list goes on, man.
Yeah. Okay. So look, the Heisman Trophy and the Doak Walker Award. I could tell you, man, when I was playing the video game, I would always try to have my running back to win that award on the video game. That signifies the best running back in the country. What getting that award or even being nominated for, what was that like for you?
For me, it was kind of just mind-blowing, because I'm more of a chilled person. All the hype up to that, going to all these different award shows, going from Eugene to Florida, then Florida to New York, then flying all the way back to Eugene, Oregon. That's just, it's a lot out of you in a week span, and then also trying to get ready for a national championship and finish final. So I think that whole experience for me was just so real, especially coming from a country town, never been on a private jet, being nominated, just really putting on for your city, putting on for the university, and just soaking all that in and just trying to do your best to, stay in the moment and realize you're blessed and try not to get too overwhelmed.
Yeah, and you have what, over 5,300 yards total in your 3 years at Oregon. Again, the performances that I remember that you put on with that squad with Chip Kelly and that high explosive offense, and the running back room there was terrific. Yourself and LeGarrette Blount and Kenyon Barner, man, how was the competition in the room at Oregon with 3 players that wound up in the National Football League?
Oh man, it was stacked. Even after that, we had Lake Seastrunk coming in was like top 2 running backs coming out in the nation. Just being there and grinding out with those guys. But when you're from East Texas, man, it kind of molds you and gets you ready for all that. Life skills and just dealing with adversity and just going out there working hard. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. I don't know if I was one of the or the most talented running back in that room, but I mean, I came from hard work. I came too far from home, to go back, and I think it just makes you better. I think everybody in that same room had one common goal, win football games, go to the next level, and just be all you can be. That's one thing when you get to a college level. Everybody's competing with each other, but it's still a brotherhood. Everybody still want to see the next person succeed. So that was probably the biggest thing for me. Even when I was in the game, everybody else was, the biggest cheerleader. Even when I'm on the sideline, I'm the biggest cheerleader for those guys as well.
All right. Once again, this is Willie Epstein Jr. running the option with LaMichael James, man. Appreciate you coming through. Take me back, or take the listeners back to the 2011 season, the first game against LSU. You became the Oregon all-time career leader in rushing, passing over Derek LaVille. That was the third game. I'm sorry, that was the first game. When you actually reached that mark, what did that say for you as a person and as a player, with the decision of going to Eugene, as far as being a person or a running back that had arrived on the scene and knew that you belonged?
You want me to be just honest? I didn't care at all. For one, we lost the game, but
Yeah.
just never really cared about individual stats. I just wanted to win football games. That's probably the most important thing for me. So, once that happened, it is what it is. But hey, we got a game next week. You soak that in, like, oh, I'm a career leading rusher, but records are meant to be broke. I wanted to solidify myself, to be a legend there. Winning football games, winning Pac-12 championships, going to national championships, winning the Rose Bowl. That type of thing right there just motivates me more than any individual award can do for me.
Yeah, and speaking of championships, later that year you guys played in the Pac-12 championship game. You were the Pac-12 game MVP. 45-38 win over Oregon in the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all, down in Pasadena. 25 rushes, 159 yards, one score. I do remember that game as well. What was the feeling like after you guys won that game and topped off the season with that that Rose Bowl championship?
Oh man, it was special for me, especially thinking, hey, I'm about to go out to the NFL, possibly just to go out on a high note, win that for the community. We went to 2 bowl games when I was there, won one, but hey man, we were in Rose Bowl first year, national championship the next one, Rose Bowl again. We was in dog fights every year. We always played in BCS games, so that's probably those type of games. So that's probably the biggest thing for us, man. Just going out there competing on the highest level and try to go out on a high note. So after we won that game, it was good for our fans, good for the team, just good for notoriety for the University of Oregon, and also doing your best to put on for your hometown, Texarkana. So that's all the things that played a role in my head always. There's some kids back home looking at me like, hey man, Michael went to University of Oregon. I can do that. I can go for it and try to make something of myself.
Yeah, and I like that mentality, because you could be the first or you could be the last. I think that was from Ricky Bobby in that movie. But anyway,
Yeah.
so speaking of the BCS, because you guys played in 2011 BCS championship game against Auburn. I remember that game as well. Auburn had some dude by the name of Cam Newton. You tied the game up on a 2-point conversion, but then Auburn kicked the winning field goal as time expired. Do you remember the emotions of that game after seeing the ball go through the uprights like that?
I do. Like people ask me this question all the time, and I'm a firm believer. When you leave it all out on the field, you give it everything you got. If you lose a game, that's not a failure. You just facing adversity. You just lost the game. Somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. But once you give it everything you got, you still win. And that's kind of how I looked at that. It's not like we took any plays off. Everybody played hard. That ball could have easily went to us, and we could have kicked the field goal. That's why we play football and not basketball. You just never know which way the ball is going to go. I still think that Michael Dyer was down on that controversy call. You don't want to go out like that. But at the end of the day, we lost the football game on the last second field goal against a Heisman Trophy winner and one of the best defenses that's been in the SEC. So you just pat those guys on the back and you just keep it moving. That's how I really look at things like that.
Yeah, and I like I said, I remember that game vividly, man. And Cam was like a monster, and that call that you talked about, I do remember that call as well. And I was thinking to myself, wait, man, no way. But yeah, and I appreciate your candidness with that. And speaking of the BCS, and I just want to get your thought on this. The BCS and the way that it was constructed. We know it came in existence in 1998, and Tennessee was the first team to win a championship. They were the first team to win. No, they were the last team in 97 to win a title based on bowl seedings, and then the BCS started the next year. So we've seen the BCS evolve and go away, and now we have the college football playoff. There's a lot of talk out there about the expansion of the playoff. I personally think it should go to 6 teams. Do you have any sort of thoughts on that?
No, I do. And I understand this year, it probably should have been 6 teams, but 4 teams I think is enough. Cause I'm coming from an era where it was just 1 team.
Yeah.
So you got to go out and win every game. But I think if it went to more teams, I think it would definitely be beneficial. But only this year where I look at it, I'm like, maybe it should have been 6, but the last couple of years, I think the best team's been in there. Just me personally saying it, you go to 6 teams, there's going to be a 1-2 loss team in there and probably going to be 2 or 3 teams from the SEC. So
yeah,
you just never know with that.
Yeah. And I think the argument is that, you have 5 power conferences, and if you take a champion from each of those conferences, that automatically would qualify them for the playoff if you had 6 teams.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the argument is with that. I personally wouldn't mind seeing it. I wouldn't mind seeing 6 teams. You have the 5 power conference champions and that large team. It definitely would generate more revenue because there's more games.
Yeah, if the way you said it that way, it definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at a team who won the Big 12, let's say OU, playing they would be like I said, they're a 6 seed, right? Playing like Alabama, I don't really think that would be a good matchup for them. Or you look at Ohio State, they're a wishy-washy. They got thumped by Bama, but you see them playing. Who's another team that was out there that won their conference?
Clemson.
Clemson got thumped. It just depends, man. Every year is different, though. So maybe 6 teams would be beneficial. It just depends on the year.
Yeah. And I think, I know the money would be generated. They may be thinking of other things like an extra game, academic schedules or whatever the case may be with that. But all that stuff really takes place during the break. So I don't know. I think we're going to see it until the NCAA gets out of its own way. That's going to be an issue. So, and you mentioned because I wanted to go there, but since you brought it up, I wanted to mention or talk to you about the national championship game that just concluded between Alabama and Ohio State. Now, me being a Michigan fan, there's only 2 teams in college football that I hate more than Ohio, or 1 team that I hate more than college football than Ohio State, and that's Alabama. And the reason why that is because I don't know. I just don't like them. Maybe because they take maybe,
And that's okay.
huh?
And that's it. And that's okay. I don't like Texas. I don't know why. I just don't like them.
Oh, okay. Well, oh, I'm gonna ask you about that too. So, did you see the game? Did you see the national championship game?
I did.
So, talk to us about Devontae Smith, receiver from Alabama.
Hard work. That's he's a prime example of that. You know, he's not the fastest dude. He ain't the quickest. He ain't the biggest. I mean, you can just tell he just perfect his craft and he take what the defense give him. He never tries to do too much. He's never pressing. He ain't in a hurry, and that's just a good testament to him. You know, obviously he got some good coaching going over there, and he's humble and he's an extreme athlete, but you would never even know it, man. I really have a huge liking for players like him.
Yeah, and I actually heard, I think it was Kirk Herbstreit talking about that same thing about how humble he is, and he actually is from Louisiana as well. So yeah, and for him to win the Heisman, being only the fourth wide receiver ever to win that award,
Right.
I never thought that we would see a receiver win that award after Desmond Howard. And then for somebody like yourself who was that close to it, as a running back, who, in my opinion, affects the game more. I think you affected the game more when you played maybe than when he does now. But then again, I do understand that it's a different time. Even though y'all play with that spread offense, Alabama plays with the spread offense, and they're throwing the ball all over the place. So it's like y'all's offense was a spread hurry up, but was it run first?
Yeah, it was definitely a run first for sure. You know, I feel like the run just solidifies everything else. Play action and get the tempo going. You know, you just want to be tough out there, all that good stuff, man. You got to run the ball.
Yeah, and I hate to keep dredging up memories for the ends of games, but I gotta ask you about this because you're the first person that I've ever talked to that has actually played in the highest or the most important game of its sport that I've ever spoken with. And I'm talking, of course, about the Super Bowl between the 49ers and the Ravens down in New Orleans, where the lights went out. Colin Kaepernick was a beast that year. Ray Lewis was on his way out. You guys were really one play away from winning it all.
Yeah.
And man, can you describe, man, to the listeners that feeling? Because I can only understand about how it was for the national championship in college, but this is the NFL.
Yeah. To be honest, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same in high school. It's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a competitor and you lose on a magnitude of that level, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it stings, it hurts, and then you just try to move on from it, you know, and get ready for the next year. But you know, I've lost games in high school. I actually won a state championship in high school. I've won games in college. Lost one of those. I lost the Super Bowl. You know, it's all the same.
Yeah.
It just stings, you know. And you just try to keep moving forward, man. You have more life to live.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if I would have that mentality, because I've listened to other people, other sports personality analysts on the radio or TV or whatever. Particularly, there was Mike Golick Sr. who said he would never go to a Super Bowl because he never got a chance to play in one. And he was on that defense back in Philly back in the early 90s that was considered to be one of the best defenses in ever. And when they lost Randall Cunningham at the beginning of the year to a knee injury, they had to pretty much carry the team, and then they end up losing in the wild card round. So he said that he would never even go to a Super Bowl. So I could appreciate both perspectives, I guess, but still, I mean, I don't know if I have a chance to go to the Super Bowl as a fan or whatever, man, I'm there. I don't care.
Most definitely, man. Hey, at the end of the day, man, it's just a sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're real humans.
Yeah.
Life goes on. You know, we still deal with everything on a daily basis, just like no one else. Losing a football game, you know, life ain't gonna wait for you. You know, and I think I picked that up at an early age. No matter what happens, you got to pick your head up and keep it moving. There ain't nothing at a soaking party, or a petty party. So you just got to keep moving.
Yeah, because nobody's gonna feel sorry for you, I guess, at that point in time. But
Hey, at the end of the day, the bill's still gonna be due. you still got loved ones. You still got family. You know, you're extremely blessed. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's just a football game.
Yeah, still got to put food on the table and all that.
Always. Always.
All right, so I saw something that I wanted to ask you about as well, and I don't know if you're still doing it, but there was I guess some sort of training that you were involved in with the running backs at Oregon. Are you still doing that?
I actually got a couple here in Dallas.
Oh, really? Okay.
I got a Michigan gig too for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
look, they might need you to come back, man. As sorry as they've been the last few years. Oh my God.
Oh man, hey, I can't go play for them, but I can coach them.
I actually saw a report that they hired Mike Hart as their running backs coach.
They did. That's probably a good look for them. It'd be good for them in recruiting and everything, but Michigan's still gonna be Michigan, right?
Yeah, well, look, as a fan, that's bad right now. So, but yeah, so when I saw that, man, when you and I talked a long time ago briefly, I saw that when I was trying to get ready for the show. And so that in essence, is it like, it's not like a camp, or just explain to the people what exactly it is.
The whole thing with Oregon, well, I didn't take up on that.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to have to stay in Eugene and be dedicated to a full-time coaching job there. That's something I don't want to do right now. Maybe in the near future, but right now I'm just training some cats up for the combine, which is important to me. So my whole focus is on that right now.
Okay. Do you have like a social media or website for that information that people can go to and check it out?
Nah, I'm off the grid, man. I don't really do much social media. I'm a grinder.
Okay. Well, yeah. And that's to be appreciated. So everybody out there that's listening, it ain't always about the amount of likes. It ain't always it's not always about the amount of followers that you have. And this guy, y'all, that I'm talking to, he is living proof of that, because he made it to the highest level. You hear me? The highest level of the best sport in that league. So, and then in college, he was up there with some of the best of the years that he was there, the 3 years that he was there in Oregon, and wound up being one of the better running backs, or one of the best running backs of all time in college football. So one of my favorite players, Jalen and Cameron. I don't know if y'all are watching this or not, but yeah, that's him right there, who y'all always get. But I had to smash him anyway, because I played with Michigan or whoever, and that was that.
It's all love on the game. In reality, what happened on that. But just to go back to the whole training thing, man, Michael Johnson Performance Facility in McKinney probably has blessed me, to go out there and help some running backs trying to get to the league. D-Rob, D-Rob always open. Train a lot of kids, NFL kids in Dallas. He's phenomenal. So any receivers, any DBs looking for some work, man, really go holler at D-Rob. He's amazing. I see him every day, and he has no idea I'm even giving him a shout out. But man, he's great.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, I definitely would send people that way as I try to go into my memory bank. I've covered some high school ball here around the area, even basketball for that matter. I don't know if they do anything with basketball or not, but that's something else too that I'm passionate about as well. All right, Michael. So I wanted to ask you about this burger joint.
Yeah,
I'm hungry. Locations, none in Texas, right?
None in Texas yet.
None in Texas yet.
I'll work on that though.
Okay. So let's explain to the people in Texas, because this is a worldwide audience. Let's explain to the people here in your home state what we can expect when it does get here.
Hey, it's phenomenal. I've had a lot of burgers in Texas, and I do believe that the burgers I have are the best ones. So it's really got like a bar vibe. We got like 10 taps, man. 9-10 burgers that you can choose from. Every burger comes with bacon. Every burger comes with fries, man. It's just a good time. So hopefully, we can get one of those things out here in the next 2 years. I'll work on that.
What's the name of it again? Let the people
know.
Killer
Burger.
Say it again.
Killer Burger.
Killer Burger. Now, if that does not sound like a burger that you should try, I don't know what does. And I love hamburgers, and I definitely want to check one out. All right, LaMichael. I'm gonna let you get out of here, man. Any positive words, any words of encouragement that you can provide to people out there that have a dream, but may have been told that their dream is not attainable?
Straight lies, man. I'm a proven testament to that. You know, you can really do anything you put your mind to. There's going to be good things. There's going to be bad things. You just roll with the punches. That's kind of how I look at life. You're going to be faced with adversity each and every day, you know, in some way or form. Some are going to be bigger, some are going to be lesser. So I think just keep your head down, keep plowing forward, and keep prayed up, man. And that's probably the biggest thing for me, you know, just dealing with it. You know, there's going to be things in life that you got to deal with on a daily basis, or might come a week, you might have a bad week, you might have a bad month. But as long as you keep living and you keep striving, you're going to be all right. That's something I really go by. Just keep living.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that. And really and truly, truer words were never spoke. I heard you say you don't really do social media, so I'm not going to ask you for that information. Only if you want to provide it. But
Yeah, I got social media.
Okay, let's get that out.
I'm a little bit active on my Twitter. It's LaMichael James. So I use my Twitter. I got Instagram. Still LaMichael James. Don't really post too much on there. I definitely use my Twitter though. So
okay,
that works, man.
Yeah, give him a follow. I will definitely be following you from the show's Twitter that you can actually see scrolling across the stream. Maybe there it is. There it is right there. There's the Twitter right there for the show as well as for the network. So I will be following you from there.
Gotcha.
I appreciate the time, man. I hope we can link up. I do want to talk to you about some things that you talked about with the with helping kids get to where they want to be. I have a vision about that. Maybe we can chop it up about that as well. All right, man. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this puppy on down. This has been the Shake Back Sports Show OT. Got LaMichael James, man, rolling with your boy. We ran the option. Appreciate you coming through, man. Y'all stay safe. Y'all hug each other. Y'all love each other. And we'll talk to y'all again real soon. Peace out. We gone.